In this video, I'm going to be going over 10 champion level strats that you can do solo. And starting with the first strat, we're going to be on defense, defending cocktail / bar on cafe. And the operator that you want to run is a Rooney, and make sure you have barbed wire equipped. And so the first thing I want to talk about is your Rooney gate placements. The first one is just on CS door like that, and then run over here to piano double, and that's the second one. Super default. Most of the time that you run a Rooney, I would recommend just going with these. It just wastes the attacker's time. Very common spots that they're trying to go through. For your last one, it's kind of preference. You could put one on newbal hatch just like this, so it wastes their time trying to drop it. You could put one on red door, red hatch. If you're running Mira, you're most likely going to have head holes across this wall, and so to stop them from ashing your Mira, you can just put in a Rooney gate on that. And also you're most likely going to have a rotate right here in bathroom, so you could place it right there, so later in the round it makes it so the attackers can't easily just rotate through it. The one that I choose is this one right here on red door. I think that one just wastes the most time. It's most likely going to get burnt by the attackers, wasting some of their utility as well. The next thing I want to talk about is the holes that you need to make throughout the site. Like I said, you're going to need a rotate right here into bathroom, and so you can super easily just make that for your team. Then next thing I like to do is just reinforce this wall right here, and then you want to go ahead and make head holes across the wall next to it. So now you've made the bathroom rotate and you've set up bathroom itself. Next thing I like to do is just run into piano and reinforce the piano wall, and then you want to make the rotate right here just like this, make a crouch rotate like this. And that's really all that I like to do in terms of site setup with the punching. You definitely can do more, like if you want to pop this hatch, you can just do whatever you want, but those are the most default ones that I like to do every round. Next thing I like to do is come over here and place my first barbed wire on the bottom of white. You could run over to red and place your second one bottom red, but I like to just place my second one right atop of that. But yeah, that's really all for this setup that you want to do. Just from this, you're going to be helping your team a lot, but for the objective that you want to achieve for the round, so what I recommend doing is playing either heaven or hell, which is right down there. Now the reason you want to do that is so you can contest newbout drop, because that's obviously a common thing that they're going to do. They either drop newbout or they drop red hatch and then walk over to newbout, so you can contest them from both of these areas. What I like to do is drop down here, because yes, you can contest newbout drop and whatever, but you can also contest bottom red, so you can hold angles into mining, and you can also flank up red if you think you want to. And yeah, you're contesting this newbout drop, you're contesting mining, you're contesting bottom red, and then if you need to, you can just go up white and contest anybody that you need to from there on out. So overall, you're setting up the site for your team, you're wasting time with the barbed wire, with your Rooney gates, you're contesting crucial points into the map. So if you want to get some more wins on cafe, then definitely run this strat. But the next strat we have, you're going to be on defense on Oregon, and the site that we're going to be defending is kids / dorms. So the first step to this strat is to immediately run over here and shoot this radio. Legitimately, this is the first step as soon as you start the round. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is where you want to actually place your frost mats. So the first one that I like to place is right here on top of white. Then the next one that I like to do is on big window or double window, and then the last one that I like to do is right here on the drop into pit. And then the next thing that I like to do is place my shield right here on this wall. I want to move it up about as far as possible. Now to start with, why I place the frost mats where I place them. So for this one top white, you might be thinking, well, that one's super out in the open and they can easily see it. Well, if I'm walking up white staircase, what I'm going to be looking at is the actual door, and so when I walk up, I'm not going to be looking down and then you hit the frost mat. Make sure you do place it a little bit back from the staircase, so it's a little bit harder to see once they're walking up. This will actually get you a lot of kills, because a lot of people like to walk up this staircase and take this gap, especially if there's no barbed wire on this staircase, which if you are solo queue, a lot of the times there's not going to be barbed wire. So you can kind of protect yourself from someone just walking up this staircase by placing this here. They have to either shoot it or they're going to hit it. The next one is below double window or big window, whatever you want to call it. The reasoning for this one is the attackers like to open up this window, and if they see no one's contesting them, they're just going to run straight to back bunks. So with you placing this frost mat here, they either have to shoot it, which makes more noise, or they're going to get hit by it and then you can just kill them. But the last frost mat placement is going to be right here on pit once they drop into it. This one's very useful because if they do take attic, they're going to be looking maybe over here if there's head holes, or they're mainly going to be looking at the doorway or the rotate right here. So when they're walking up like this and they go to drop, boom, they hit the frost mat. Those three are probably the best three in my opinion. You can switch them up a little bit, like you can place one right here so that when the hard breacher runs in to go for a plant, they just hit it like this, or you could place one under the attic window. But in my opinion, those ones don't get hit as much as the ones that I showed you. And lastly, for your shield placement, the reason why you want to place it right here is because you're in a pretty powerful position. You can contest white if someone tries to go up your white, you can contest trophy door, you can contest attic if they end up taking it, and you can also rotate into kids, you can contest big window. There's just a lot of spots that you can contest, and you're pretty protected behind the shield, especially if you can have a Jaeger and especially if you keep this wall closed. But the next thing I want to talk about is what you need to reinforce and what you actually need to do for your site setup. So what I like to do is just open up the head holes here, right here first. Now you can either make this a head holes or you can make it a full rotate. I just like to make it head holes. The next thing I would do is put the footholes right here along this wall. Now some people might make a rotate here, they might make head holes, but in my opinion footholes are the best. The reasoning for this is you can play back-end kids right here, and if they try to jump into the window, obviously there's a frost mat here, but if the frost mat gets destroyed or something like that, if they try to jump into this window, you or your teammates, it's a one-way angle. You're going to be seeing their ankles or whatever, and they're not going to be able to see you at all basically, so you can freely get that kill. But as you can see from your shield, you can contest right here. All you have to do is hold this angle like this. You're going to shoot them as they run across, and if you don't end up killing them then you can just walk them down and kill them. And then if you have a teammate over here, you can kind of pinch them and they're going to be pretty screwed in that position. For this wall right here, you can either make a rotate right here, you can reinforce it, or you can just leave it soft. In my opinion, the best option is just make a little crouched rotate right here, because if you know no one's big window, let's say you killed the person there, or you just know no one's there, then you can just crouch through right here using this bunk as your cover, and you can contest white, or you can go to the head holes, whatever you need to do. Well, you might be thinking they can just wall bang from big window. Yes, they can do that, but as long as you just play behind the bunks, or if you just keep this wall reinforced, then you should be fine. But if you just want to reinforce it, you can go ahead and do that. But the next thing you want to do is make the rotate for your team. Now you can either make this a crouch rotate or a standing rotate. I just like to make it a standing rotate because I don't see the reasoning behind a crouch rotate, because most of the time you're the ones that are going to be using this. And second off, you can kind of swing to the breach like that, much easier than if it was crouched. And you can either reinforce this wall or you can leave it soft, because as you can see, there's some angles that you can get onto big window if they open up this wall. I can just play behind the bomb on this head glitch, or you can just reinforce it just so you can have some cover right here if you're going to be playing on the bomb holding white, so you know that you're not going to get shot on your side from atatck. And lastly, for what you need to do during the round, like I said, this position is a strong power point. You can hold trophy door, you can hold atatck if they take it, you can hold white, back bunks, you can do a lot of things from this position, and you can just hold this area like this, and eventually if they do get the wall open, you can just rotate into kids. You can maybe use the atatck rotate. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but for the majority of the round, you want to stay behind your shield and just stop them from entering trophy door, peeking trophy door, whatever. But for the next strat, we're going to be attacking on coastline, and you want to be attacking the kitchen bomb site as ram. So you want to make your way to VIP balcony, and first things first, you want to drone out the VIP area slash the penthouse area. Now ignore the bomb being here. This is not where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be in kitchen. Now there's usually about 3 scenarios you'll find yourself in when you're doing this strat. The first one is there's going to be no roamers here. The second one is there's going to be someone in VIP, and the third one is there's going to be someone in VIP and also penthouse. So I'm going to give you my opinion on how you should go about attacking each scenario. So starting off, if there's one roamer in VIP, what you need to realize is if he's contesting you on this doorway right here. So if he's not contesting you on the doorway, just ram in and go for the kill. It's going to catch him by surprise, and it's probably your best play. The other scenario is if he is watching this doorway, then all you have to do is rappel up onto the roof right here, and you want to go over to the bathroom hatch. Once you've made it to the bathroom hatch, just shotgun it out, drop, and then you just want to challenge from either Hall of Fame, or you can wrap around and go challenge from 90. Either way, you want to try to kill this roamer as quick as possible and use your drones for information, and you can get information onto whoever's in VIP, and you can use that to kill him easier. But the next scenario that you're going to find yourself in is if there is a roamer in penthouse and there's a roamer in VIP. You obviously can't do the 2 plays that I just showed you. So in this scenario, what you want to do is rappel onto the roof once again, and you want to go over to the hookah balcony. Then you just want to make a play. You just want to ram into this. You want to grab your ram device, and you want to try to kill the VIP person first. So like I said, just use this drone. If you find them right here, you can go for a wall bang, whatever. If they're behind the DJ booth, you can chow them from there, and then you can either wrap around into theater right here, or you can chow the person in penthouse from Hall of Fame. You should have 2 drones. Usually I like to have one in this drone hole and one in this drone hole, and you can use them both to try to aid your attack. But once you've cleared the roamers, or if there was no roamers to start with, you want to start getting vert out. So usually I like to open up the top part of this wall, something like this. Now usually this side of the wall is not going to be broken, or it might be reinforced. If it's reinforced, you kind of can't do this, but if it's soft, usually what you want to do is just open this top part up, and usually you would throw your drone in right here, but as you can see with the endless drill, you have to throw it over here, which is not ideal, but I can still make it work. You then want to point your drone to the left, so then once you activate it, it's going to open up the entire wall and also make vert onto the site. So let's say a C4 gets thrown at your foot. Instead of you having to crouch through like this and most likely taking damage or dying, you can just sprint through and you're probably not going to die. But once you've thrown down your first RAM device, I like to throw my next one right here, and then once you've thrown that one down and it's activated, throw your other one over the... Okay, are we serious? You would throw your other one over here so you can have a rotate through penthouse, also making vert. So now that you've cleared the roamers and you've gotten vert onto site, you need to think about what you need to do for the rest of the round. So if you can get the plant down, if your teammates are in position to plant the bomb, what you should be looking to do is holding the rotates throughout the site from your vert. So if they do end up planting over here in this corner, all you have to do is come over here, make a little shotgun hole like this, and then you can watch the kitchen door so they cannot die. If they decide to plant in this corner, all you have to do is watch the rotate in the door from over here like this. If they decide that they want to plant in this corner over here, it's kind of hard to watch it, but you can watch the bathroom door like this. Now, let's say you've gotten a pick or you haven't gotten a pick through your vert holes, you're going to have to make a play by going downstairs. Now, you can either try to walk down cool vibes or you can try to jump over right here. Now, these two options, you have to realize if you're down in man advantage, usually they're going to have someone in sunrise or blue bar. So if they do have someone in sunrise, they're going to be playing more kind of passive and they're just going to wait for you to walk down cool vibes, which isn't really going to work for you. And they might have a cross with someone in the hallway or in the blue bar, so it's just not going to really work. So what I like to do is just jump off right here, and you can much easier challenge the person from over here or over here. And you also have the option to rotate into lobby and then go towards bathroom if you want to. But with this strat, you're going to be clearing roamers, creating vert, adding value by helping your team get the plant down if that's possible. You also have rotation options, and it's definitely going to help you get some more wins, especially if you have trouble attacking this site. But for the next strat, we're going to be defending on Clubhouse, and you want to be on the CCTV/cache bomb site. And for your first Valk cam, you want to head into Garage. If you don't like one of the cams I show you, then you can change it to your liking, but generally what you want to do for your first Valk cam is place it somewhere in Garage. Now, where I like to place mine is right here, and it might look like it's out in the open, but it's pretty hard to spot because if you look at Garage door, if they're entering from right here, they're never going to be looking up here like this. They're either going to be looking on rafters, lounge, or the window. So they're always going to be looking this way. The next one that I like to place down is right here in sight, and I just like to place it right here on this light. Now you can place it in different spots. This is the one that I like to go with. And for the last one, you want to place it somewhere in con. Now there's multiple different spots you could go with. You have this light bulb right here. You have in this corner, over here, whatever, but the one that I like to go with is right here on this light bulb. Now, the reason why I like this one the most is because you can see the entire con, you can see the window, you can see into cache, you can see con single, and it's pretty hard to spot where it's at. But now what I want to talk about is what you need to set up. So first things first, what you want to do is hop down here into lounge, and the next thing that you want to do is you want to start barricading off these doors. So once you've barricaded these 3 doors, what you want to do is come over here and you want to make holes right here like this. But the reason why you do this is because you can actually see onto rafters right here. I can get a pretty good angle onto rafters, and most of the time the attackers aren't going to realize this, and you might end up getting a kill from that. And what the barricaded doors do, they have to make some sort of noise if they want to try to go for a kill on you. Same thing for these 2 as well. And another thing you can do is you can crouch right here and you can see right under. There's also another barricade over there, so you can see people outside from here, and you can also see this one right here. And another thing is you have a cam right into sight. So most of the time on CCTV, if they're going to go for a plant, it's going to be in B site, and the default plant is right down here. And if you know, we are right below that. So all I have to do is come over here and throw my C4 right there. If I see someone going for the plant, boom, I can easily do it. So with this strat, you're automatically helping your teammates by giving them all this information. You're holding down a very crucial point of the map. And if your attackers aren't adapting to what you're doing, you have all these different angles. I can hold this, I can hold garage door, I can go under here, go under here. It's going to be really hard for you to die, even if you're by yourself. And then on top of that, you have plant denial with your C4. Overall, you're helping your team a lot just by yourself. But for this next strat, you want to be on defense on Outback as Frost, and you want to be on the laundry/piano site. So first things first, for your Frost placements, the first one, you just want to place it right here on this games room window, and you want to make sure you put it to the side of the window as much as possible. Then you want to place one right here in dorms. You just want to place it under this window. And then for your last frost mat, you want to come over here to yellow or reptile stairs, and you want to place your frost mat in the kind of in the middle of the staircase, but more towards this side. But if you're walking up this staircase, you're going to be looking over here. You're not going to see the frost mat, and then you're going to hit it. So the next thing you want to do is come into showers and just place your shield right here onto this little shower thing right here, and you want to make sure it's flush with this wall right here. Next thing you want to do is come over here and reinforce this wall. Now, most of the time, if you were playing this in like a 5-stack, you would like to have a rotate right here so that you can contest bull a little bit easier. When you're playing solo queue, you don't know if your teammates are going to be holding bull or if they're going to be holding games room. So let's say that you had this wall open, so if an attacker just rushes through bull and they go over here, they're going to get a perfect angle right right to where your shield is, and you're probably never going to hear them. So what I like to do is just keep this wall reinforced so you can't get shot from your back, and you can just focus on what you're doing behind your shield. And for this wall right next to it, you can either put head holes across it, or you can just reinforce it. I like to just reinforce it just for some more security, and also so if you're rotating through here, you don't get wall banged, or if they try to open up the wall for themselves, it doesn't get used against you. And the last little thing that I like to do is, if you have time, make sure you make the rotate right here. You can put footholds on this side right here, just like that, so it's a one-way angle if anybody's walking through this hallway. You'll also want to have this wall reinforced. You don't need to do this yourself, but if your teammates don't do it, then you can also do it. But with this wall reinforced, you can play a little bit better in sight. Your teammates can. And also you can jump up here and do this like this. You have an angle onto this window and onto the breach. And that's really all there is to set up for the strat. Now keep in mind, a lot of this is subject to change because your teammates, you do have to rely on your teammates somewhat to help you set up the site. But like I said, you just want to play your shield. You can contest the window. You can contest the breach. You can turn around, contest piano if it's needed. You can rotate back into laundry, go through this rotate. You have a lot of different options, and you're stopping the walk up from yellow, and you're holding down the main push that the attackers are going to try most likely. And also on top of that, look at how much site setup that you can do. Obviously you have to work with your teammates. Like I said, if they want to do, they have to do at least something for you, but you can set up most of the site for your team with this strat. But for the next strat, you're going to want to be attacking on chalet, and you want to make sure you're attacking the wine cellar / the basement. You want to make sure your operator is fused, and I would highly recommend running hard breach charges. Then you want to walk over here, shoot the default cam. You can open up this window. Now I'll tell you why you want to do that later on. But then once you climb up the ladder, you're on the balcony, just punch this once, throw your drone in. You then want to just drone all of library, basically the whole top floor. Once you've droned all of this, you've droned mez, you've droned this, you drone piano, you can then set up your drone right here as a flank cam. Now if there is someone actually here, you can drop down, jump in right here, and try to walk up blue to try to clear the roamer that's up here. And if they are upstairs, it should be pretty easy to clear them if they're by themselves. But if there is no roamer up here, then you just want to jump in, and then you want to run over here in the mez, and you just want to go to this pillar right here, and that's where you're going to place your first fuse charge. Now I'm not going to activate it just yet, and I am in an endless drill, so if I do end up getting a kill from one of these fuses, that just shows you that it would get a kill in an actual game. Once you activate your first fuse charge, you want to go down the line and place them on this first 3 pillars right here. Now it's not guaranteed that you do get a kill, but you're definitely going to be opening up a lot of vert, which I'll show you in a second. Now you can save your last one to place it more towards over there, whatever, but I like to just place it back where I placed this third one. Now, as you can see, I did end up getting a kill on that one because usually this is the one that gets you a kill. Now, usually this hatch is going to be reinforced, so you have hard breach charges if it isn't cated, which most of the time it won't be cated. You can then also have the dining hatch right here that you can open. So you can open up both of those hatches, create a lot of vert, destroy a lot of utility, get a kill maybe. Now, once you've done all of this, you still have to think about what you need to do to win the round. So if your team has gotten the main wall open, what you can do is you can use the vert holes and different things like that to stop rotations throughout the site. You can stop rotations all through here, so that they can go for the plant. But in solo queue, this is not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee that they're even going to go for the plant. So for other options, you can either try to drop this hatch if you think that you can find a gap to try to go for maybe a kill or two, or this other hatch. It just depends on what you think you can do. That's why you want to use your drones effectively. Another play that you could do is walking down blue. Now you want to make sure you actually can do this, because if they have a zombie, barbed wire, all this different stuff, it's going to be really hard to walk down blue. So if you've ruled out the hatches and you've ruled out blue, the other option is to walk down main stairs. This one is probably the fail safe. So if you can't go down the hatches and you can't go down blue, then you can just go down main, because this one, even if there is barbed wire and all that different stuff, you know no one is going to be contesting you right here as long as the wall is open, and you can just try to frag out, maybe hold blue, hold the rotate there, whatever. And also make sure during the round that you're checking your camera that you have set up for flank, especially do that while you're actually upstairs or you're over here. Just every about 30 seconds, 20 seconds, you can go in here here and check, and hopefully you're not going to get flanked from that. But overall, just all this value that you're getting from this strat is going to help your team to secure this round a lot better than if you were to just try to do some nuanced strat. But for the next strat, you're going to be defending on skyscraper. You want to be on the office/exhibition room site with Elysian. You want to jump up onto this desk and place your bulletproof camera right here. I'll go into why you want to place it there later on, but the next thing that you want to do is you want to come over here and make head holes, well, not head holes, but you want to make holes in the wall like this, and you want to do something like this on both sides, and then you want to reinforce this middle wall. Now you might be asking, why would you want to do this? Well, if you jump up on this display case, you can see angles onto the breach and onto the other side of sight. Some people like to just reinforce this wall off. You can do whatever you want. I'd say if you're in a lower ranked lobby, you probably could just do this because your teammates might not know about it, and this side is way more useful because you can get angles onto the breach. But next thing you want to do is come over here into terrace. You want to make footholes right here. Then you want to run over here to drum, and you want to make these footholes into geisha. Now that's really all you have to do for setting up the strat. Now let's talk about where you want to place your legion mines. So the first one I like to do is I come over here into shrine, and you just want to throw this legion mine under this window. The next one that you want to do is come over here into tea room, and you want to throw your legion mine either side of this door. I like this outside side, and then you do the same for this one right here. You can throw it on either side of the door, but I like this side better. Now that you've placed down your 3 legion mines and you set up all the strat basically, let's talk about why you want to place down those first 3. So this window right here, if someone jumps into this window, if your teammates are not watching it, you have no idea because you're going to be playing somewhere over there. And this is one of the only areas where they can quickly make a play on you and you wouldn't really know in the beginning of the round. But with that legion mine, obviously you're going to know if they jump in. For these next 2 in tea room, the reason why I like to place them in here is because in this area over here, you have angles onto geisha, so you know if anyone's pushing from there. You are right next to this doorway, so you're going to know if anybody walks up the staircase or anything like that. The only spot that you really don't know anything about is over here on this side of tea room. So with the legion mines on the doorways, they can't enter this room, meaning they can't push you from this side. So you're basically cutting off this entire side that you have less information on with the legion mine. And as your legion mines build up during the round, some good placements are right here on this doorway just in case they walk up the staircase. And then I like to throw one under this window and on this doorway just in case if you're more on this side of the map this time, you're going to know if someone jumps in this window or you're going to know if they jump in the doorway. Another one that I like is just throw one on the geisha window because once again, if you're not watching it, if they jump in, then obviously they're going to hit the legion mine. And then you have 2 left. You can place these wherever you want, but I really just like to save them to replace some of the ones that get hit during the round because odds are someone is going to be pushing from this side and they might hit the legion mine. You might get a kill on them and then you can replace it. So if another teammate comes in that way, then you can also get information on them. And another thing with this bulletproof camera, the reason why you want to place it over in sight and not where you are, you can place it where you are if you want kind of some information, more information onto what the enemies are doing on this side of the map. But the reason why I like to place it in sight is because in solo queue, you're not going to get information from sight because most of the time your teammates are not going to be calling out that well, if at all. So with this bulletproof camera, you can watch the breach and you can watch just all this general sight. So if they're going for a plant, if they're pushing in sight, whatever, all you got to do is check your camera for about 5 seconds or whatever. And okay, they're walking in the breach, whatever. Now I need to come over here and help my team. But what you're going to be doing during the round is basically waiting for your legion mines to go off. If you know exactly where it went off, you can try to go for the kill on the person that hit it. But in this spot with all your legion mines surrounding you, pretty much no one can just push you. You have all these different angles that you can play and you can basically hold off this whole area of the map. So you're going to be definitely wasting a lot of time. They're going to be trying to drone you out. They're going to be hitting legion mines, all these different things. And if you do get a kill, that's definitely going to help your team secure the round a lot better. And then you have your bulletproof camera, which if no one's pushing over here or whatever, you can just check this camera, see if your teammates need help in sight, and then you can easily rotate back to sight. But for the next strat, we're going to be attacking on Villa, and you want to be attacking the aviator / games room bomb site. I like to spawn ruins, and you want to make sure you choose nomad with breaching charges. So first things first, you want to actually prep a drone at the top of red. Now it's pretty important that you keep this drone alive because it's going to come up important later on in the round. But once you run out of spawn, you want to run down here and you want to run down to the secret tunnel. So if you don't know where it is, it's right here, and you just want to run down here to the end of it. Now once you've made it to the end of the tunnel, you're going to find this wooden wall. You just want to place your breaching charges right on the wall, and you can activate it. Now, once you activate it, you can either drone it or you can just run through. The odds of someone being down here is pretty low, but you can drone it real quick, pick up your drone, and then continue on. But next, what you want to do is come over here to the bottom of the staircase, throw your drone up. Then you just want to check the left of the hallway, the right of the hallway real quick. No one's here. Okay, I like to just set my drone up right here in the hallway. Then what you would do is you would swap to your drone at the top of red. Just check top red so no one's there. Now, if someone is top red, you can try to go for the kill on them because they might not be expecting you. But I'd say most of the time, there's not going to be someone here. But next what you want to do is set up your nomad right there. I like to set it up right here. You can set it up in a different spot, but they're going to hear that nomad and they're probably not going to try to walk up the staircase anyways, and if they do, you're going to hear them shoot it. You also have this cam right here, which is also going to kind of scare them away. Now what you want to do is quickly, you just want to drone stat real quick. Okay, no one's stat. Then you drone deer. Okay, no one's deer. Then 90 real quick, because you just want to make sure no one's in these areas so that you can set up your nomads. Now chances are there's going to be someone in one of these areas. Now it's not completely streamlined. I can't tell you what to do in every situation, but usually if you can just find the gap to go for a kill on one of these people, one of these roamers. So let's say someone's 90, no one's in deer or stat. Okay, I can take this gunfight with the guy 90. Most of the time they aren't going to know that you're already at top red, because this is only going to be 30 seconds, 45 seconds to a minute into the round. So they're not going to be fully expecting you, and you haven't really made too much noise so far if everything's gone to plan. And usually you will have teammates creating pressure on everybody else. Even if it's not the best, it will still make them not, fully focused on you. You then want to set up your other two nomads. So I just like to place mine right here in this room, and then I like to place my second one right here on this door. These two are going to stop flanks from, stat / master side, and then deer / astro side, which is really the only two spots that you can get flanked by. You could change these nomad placements up. You could save one for the post plant. You could put 190. You can do whatever you want, but these are the ones that I like to place down. But now that you've taken this area of the map, you have pressure right into sight. You can also pinch anybody that would be in study. But if you've already taken study, or there's just no one in study, think about it. I have all this area cleared out. I have nomads. They can't flank me. None of that. So I can basically put pressure from sight, because if there's no one study and there's no one able to flank me, now all I have to do is focus on the people's sight. And since you're here, they can't really play in sight. As long as you're playing it smart and you don't die to someone over here, use this to your advantage. And then you have head holes across the site. You have a rotate that's usually going to be here, different things like that, and just making it hard for them to play in sight. And then what you can do is you can go for the plant if you do have the diffuser. If it's clear, you can use one of your nomads if you do have one. Especially if you have study control, it's going to be really easy for you to go for the plant like this. This isn't the most streamlined strat, but with experience, this strat is going to work very well in a solo queue environment, because it's much easier to do this than try to take study by yourself or try to walk up main by yourself or anything like that, because you're quickly taking a very important part of the map. You're trying to help your team as much as possible by stopping flank, stopping roamers, different things like that, pinching people's study, putting pressure on the site, and it's really the simplest and the least dangerous way to do so. But for this next strat, you're going to want to be defending on lair, and you want to be on the master office / R6 room bomb site. And the operator that you want to choose is a zombie, and it's highly recommended to have the ACS 12 on for this strat, and also you want to have barbed wire on. You don't have to have these two things, but it's highly recommended. So first thing, once you load in, what you want to do is start setting up the site for your team. So if I was spawned in right here, boom, you can just make the head holes right here. Then there's a crouch rotate that your team needs right here. And then once you go through this rotate, you need to make the vaultable rotate that's supposed to be here. And then once you've made these two rotates, you can reinforce this wall. Then you want to run over here into the master room, and you just want to make head holes along this wall like that. And then go to the other side of the wall and make head holes along this wall as well. And then you want to reinforce this wall and this wall. So boom, now you've done most of the setup for your team. You've done all the setup that you need. What you need to do now is thinking about your ability placements. So first things first is your barbed wire. I like to come down here to main stairs and just place your first barbed wire on the bottom of the staircase. Now you can double up this barbed wire, but I like to save it for where I'm going to be playing. But for your zombie barrier placements, what I like to do is just help out my team with your zombie barriers and then give yourself one or two. So the first one is behind this desk, just like this. So now your team can have little angles over here like this or like this. Let's say you have like a cade, they can hold down this wall, and they can also play behind this desk. If you go down, they can hold your angles, different things like that. And then another one, if you have this rotate right here, you come over here to this and you want to line it up with this thing right here and just go on the far right side of it like that. And so now when they're crouching through the rotate, they can't be seen by the breach, they can't be seen by this door, and then they can use this kind of like a shield and just peek out over it like that. And then another one I like to do is come over here to this structure in R6 room, go over to this right here, put it pretty high up, about like right here, and you just want to place it right there. And as you can see, it's going to be like a half a zombie barrier. But when you vault up here, you can sit behind this, and then you can peek out to this door, this rotate, and the bomb over there, whatever you need to do. And your teammates can use all three of those as zombie barriers. But the last two that that I like to use. You don't want to use these in the beginning of the round, and you don't want to pre-place them. I like to just save them for what I need to do later on the round. So let's say the attackers open up this door, which is most likely what's going to happen. That's why you're holding down this area. When they're trying to walk through, let's say you kill one that walks through right here, right? You can just throw down your next zombie barrier right after you kill them on that doorway. So now if you had a teammate that was near them, the teammate has to punch this down to actually enter. And for your last one, what I like to do is just save it for later on in the round. So maybe you just block off another doorway. Maybe if they have ace, you can just block it off like this. But during the round, you just want to hold down this op room. Use these reinforcements to take cover. You can peek the breach if you need to. You can peek this door. You can rotate if no one's pushing over here. You can use your other zombie barriers. And remember, you have barbed wire in main, so they can't walk up as easy. And overall, you're helping your team set up the site. You're giving them a zombie barriers. You're cutting off very crucial map control. And overall, this is just a great strat to try out. But for the next strat that we have, you're going to be defending on theme park, and you can be either one of these sites, and you want to make sure your operator is Melusi. But with this strat with Melusi, you're going to be basically a roamer and holding off the entire horizontal side of the map. So first thing that you want to do is come over here into bunk and then make head holes into break room, and then you want to reinforce this wall. Then you want to do the same thing. You want to make head holes across this wall and then reinforce this middle wall. Then you want to go into break itself, and you also want to make a rotate right here. Then you want to go into arcade and place your first Melusi under this window. Now this one's pretty subject to change, but this is the best one so far that I could think of. Then the next one, you just want to come over here into arcade stairs and place it kind of in the middle of the staircase. First off, they're going to either be looking up here or back here, and they're not going to see the Melusi until they walk into it. They're going to have to make a decision. Do I run down? Do I shoot it? Or do I run up? You can be overlooking them, ready to kill them if they are hitting it. Next thing that you will want to do is make head holes along this wall. Now this is probably the last step that you want to do, and you don't need to make the head holes across the whole wall, but if you can and you have the time, then definitely go ahead and do that. And then you want to run over to yellow, and the next Melusi I like to place is right here on this little like half wall right here. Same reasoning. They're going to be looking up here, whatever, and they're not going to see the Melusi until they hit it. They got to make a decision, shoot it, run down, run out. And for your last Melusi, I like to just place it right here on the cafe double, because if they do take cafe, you kind of really can't contest them from where you're going to be playing. So if you just have the Melusi, once they hit it, you can see through the head holes. You're going to see where they are. So now you basically have this whole other side of the map set up, and you can hold it all by yourself. That's why Melusi, getting the extra Melusi, is very important, because she can cover so much area. And if you can control this side of the map, they can't open this wall, and they cannot open this wall over here. You're trying to waste as much time as possible, and also if you can try to get a pick or two, that would be great. And you have all these different angles that you can use. You can watch down yellow from back in break room. Then you also have the rotate, which you can use to watch arcade. And throughout all this time, you have your Melusis going off if someone enters the area, so you know exactly where they're going to be. And all of these head holes and different Melusis and stuff is creating ghost pressure and just putting pressure onto the attackers. So you're definitely going to be wasting a lot of their time, and if you can end up getting a kill or two, that would be great for helping your team win the round. If you feel you improved from this video or you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. And if you want to watch more of my content, then click the video popping up on your screen.